Amy here. So I'm gonna do my specialty, create my specialty today, which I don't know if it's my specialty, but I feel like my specialty is a whole bunch of photos squeezed onto one layout. And it's hiking, and I love hiking pictures. So I'm gonna put these together because I find it easier to see how it's gonna look, like to think of it as one big layout. So I'm definitely gonna be using these, and I just discovered them. I did not realize we had this format in, like, these are 4x4. So that's the Pocket Plus. So that's gonna end up going here, and I've already got those pictures in there, and then I'm gonna do something decorative here and probably journaling. And then these guys are gonna go like this. Actually, I think I might put these here. And no, that one's fine. I'll put that one there. And I'm gonna put these two here. I think we'll do it this way. So that is gonna be my layout, and then this is gonna go in here. That's my plan. So I will probably frame up some of these pictures that I just sort of wanna maybe draw a little more attention to. For sure this one, and maybe even just this one, but I'll think about it and see what I do. And I'm gonna be going with some papers that are just, this is from the current mix-in. This is stash papers, but I think they go nicely with these pictures. And then I'm gonna use some of this, I think, too. This is also stash. It's from a mix-in. It might even be still online, and if it is, I will link it. I am going to do some treatment to the background of this. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do that, but I am going to lay these out, and then I'm going to kind of mark with a pencil where they're going to end, so where I want the treatment to be, so that that makes it a little easier. So here is my pencil. So we'll just draw the corner of this one. That one does not want to stay. There we go. There. And then we'll go here and here. So that kind of gives me an idea of what's going to show. And I'm not sure how I'll put this one, but I think it doesn't matter, because so this is going to be something like that. There we go. Because I was not using a certain paper pack to make this layout, I didn't really have stickers that I was planning to use. I did find a title and a few little embellishments in the Wonderful scrapbooking kit that I have from the past. So that was out of my stash. And then I use stamps to make my own embellishments. So any stamps that are still available are probably on sale, and I will link them down below. So I stamped and hand cut out, and sometimes I used the die cuts if I had them. And I just created a whole bunch of different little embellishments that I was going to use on my page later on. So these Are We There Yet kind of border stamps. These are the little icons. They are about 6 inches long, I think a little shorter. And if you want to have a longer strip than that, you can connect them by hanging the die off the edge of between the cutting plates, so that part doesn't cut. And then you do the same thing with the next roll through when you're cutting it. And then if you're perfect at it, it'll connect right there on that spot that hasn't been cut yet. But I'm not perfect at it, so I actually had to use the scissors to kind of cut in between there. And then I ended up not using more than a 6-inch strip at 6-inch strip at a time anyways. So it was kind of unnecessary, but there you see how I've got it kind of hanging off the edge. This is also an older stamp set. We do have lots of similar ones, and I actually have one on the way, the owl stamp set, and it also has a ring like this. I think it's smaller, but anyways, I wanted to use it to pattern the background of my paper. So I'm using the pencil marks that I've made on the paper in the beginning to know kind of where I want them, and I do add some later, but it's nice to kind of know where I want them and where I want the splatters. So I just used a Harbour, because that's the shimmer brush I have that matches the closest, and it really doesn't matter. I could have a sapphire one, but this worked just fine. It was such a sunny day in the craft room when I did this layout, and I'm still kind of looking for a blind that lets the natural light in but doesn't let so much sun in, and it's just the sun is low in the sky at this time of day, and now with the time change I have to keep track of when is the best time to film. So this is when I had time, so this is when I filmed, and hopefully that sunlight shining on there doesn't bother you too much. At least it's really easy to see, it's not too dark, because that would be a different problem. There was definitely quite a bit of rearranging going on here when I was trying to decide where I wanted that picture with the sapphire trim. And I ended up with it on the bottom because I really liked having kind of the diagonal from the sapphire trim being on the top on the left side to the bottom on the right side. This layout is a little bit different in how I added the pattern paper after the photos were adhered. So I am adding this pattern paper in behind in a rectangle, kind of like it looks like there's an inner piece of paper going all the way behind. But of course, I only have to use small pieces because I'm just going to tuck them in, and you won't even be able to tell that they were not all the way behind. I chose this color because I love how it matches the green colors and shades in the pictures. We were at a provincial park in Alberta, and I'll tell you a bit more about that in a minute. As I was looking at adding this patterned paper, I kind of thought, I think this layout needs something. So I decided to add a little trim of sapphire around the outside. So when I did that, I turned off the camera and trimmed off a little bit from each side. I did a 1/2 inch from the top and a 1/4 inch from the side. So I had a 1/4 inch around on 3 sides. And then I turned the camera back on and I got back to work on my layout. I see that I didn't have that much glued down. I thought I had most of the pictures glued down, but I still had some to glue down. And I actually did have them down before I started adding the patterned paper because it was just easier to use little pieces and be able to save a lot of that patterned paper. So of course I was going for a look that there is a square of paper kind of in behind everything. So all I needed was these 4 corners tucked in to have that sort of look. Here is where I used the border that I had so painstakingly used a technique of hanging it off the edge of the cutting plates in order to keep it 12 inches long, and here I'm cutting it down anyway. But that's all right. I like how it turned out, and I really like that I was using a or I guess it's a travel themed stamp set to do hiking. It just worked perfect because it has binoculars and all the things you might need when you go hiking. I also used another stamp set or another stamp on that set. It is these arrows that are kind of all twisting and turning, and that really worked in my mind for this particular day because the kids were twisting and turning through all these coulees and hoodoos, and it was really neat. This is the title from the wonderful workshop kit that was in my stash, and the little evergreen trees are from that as well. And the stamp of the compass is the badge stamp. From something badges. Anyways, I will link it down below. I can't remember all the names offhand just now. I actually used 2 of the stamps and put them together. So the outside is where the blue writing is one of the badges, and then the inside is another one of the badges, and I just cut it a little bit smaller, and then I distressed the edges because I didn't have the exact right circles, so I cut it by hand and distressed the edges so you wouldn't see that the circles weren't quite perfect. One thing I always like to have on my layout, if I can get it, is patterned paper that kind of includes a lot of the colors, because it seems to just tie everything together for me. I don't always have that, but I do, if I can find it, I do like to include it. So this paper with the little arrows on it is from a paper pack that we had a while back about camping and outdoors. And I had quite a bit of this arrow paper left, so I decided to kind of fit it in here on the sides, like a tier coming down. So there's another piece of paper tucked in behind yet. And I really like how it kind of ties everything together. I don't know if the layout actually totally needed these wavy arrows that I stamped, but I had stamped them out, so I really wanted to try and use them. So I added them across the top, and I auditioned the title in the sky there of that one picture, but I decided I liked it better kind of layered over top of those arrows. And those arrows are just fun. They're like swirly and twirly. I don't know how good you can see them on the video, but they're part of that Are We There Yet border stamp set. And I just thought they were appropriate because, like I said, my friend had 4 kids and my husband and I had our 3 kids there, and they were just tearing around this place, running up and down the hills. And it's pretty safe because nothing's really super steep. It's really easy to climb. The only thing is you do have to watch a little bit for rattlesnakes because there can be some out there. I've never seen one, but I have heard that they are out there. This great adventure was at Dry Island Buffalo Jump Provincial Park. That's quite the mouthful, but it is a buffalo jump that the First Nations people used to hunt. So look those up if you don't know what they are, because they are an interesting part of history. I just added a bit more stamping to the background, and now I'm putting in some silver thread. Well, that is all the video I have because my phone, I guess the battery started going dead. So my phone said, I'm done, and it turned off. So what I added was, you saw me there, I was just adding this silver string here. I just ball it up in my hands like this, and then I shove it under and use some liquid glue to glue it down. Gems, I added the gems, and I think I was just doing the trees and these blue dots there. So I'll bring you in for a close-up. First, I'd like to show you this. So this is what's gonna go in the middle, and I'm just going to journal in here the location we were and who we were with. And I'll bring you in for a close-up. Really like how that silver thread kind of just is just a little bit of bling. And I'll show you that one. This was really fun to kind of print my own background on the white paper. And I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. As you saw, it didn't take very much patterned paper. So I'm just gonna grab my album that this is gonna go into. The last thing I wanted to show you is how it looks in this album. This is the D-ring album. I do not do post-bound albums very often anymore because I'm like post-bound album challenged, and I wrestle with the posts and screwing them together and getting it all in. And these albums, if you forget a page in the middle, it's easy to just switch one out somewhere because you can just right, and take it out. So I have switched over and accepted there's a gap, and if I really want to see it without a gap, I can do this, but I think most people, like my boys, don't really care that much. So this is how it looks, and when I flip that, then I have a few more pictures, and I'll have my journaling there, and that is the finished layout. So I've used a lot of stamps, some current ones and some older ones, and I will post whatever is available and on sale right now. And I hope that you'll go over to my shopping page and make a purchase. Thank you so much for watching my channel, and hit that like and subscribe if you haven't done that yet, so that you can be notified when I drop new videos. So have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you the next time. Bye.